So what I want us to do is to start becoming more conscious, start choosing things in a better way for ourselves, and start creating a life that's going to gear us to really take advantage of the opportunities that are going to show up for us in the years to come.
This podcast is brought to you by The Integrated Human. We work up, down, inside out to plug yourself into your potential. If you want to see what we are up to and what's next, sign up to our newsletter or follow us on social media. If you like what we are doing, we really appreciate it if you can like or post on social media and YouTube and help us grow.
Welcome to the Big and Small Podcast. I'm Jason Shields and I'm big.
And I'm Marit and I'm the tiny one.
I'm so glad to be back in the chair, in the hot seat with my compadre, my buddy in battle, Marit Gabrielsen. How you doing, lady?
Oh, we hear again. That's the first thing you asked last episode as well. I don't have a better answer.
Well, I respect.
Up, down, inside out.
That's it. I like that. That's the best answer. That's right.
A little bit too much in up.
Yeah,
but
that's it.
We're working on it.
Badassness in process. So,
yes.
Something I wanted to talk about today that I think is very interesting because with COVID and a lot of changes that people have been going through, I want to talk about dreams. And most people think about dream states as kind of like, I dream that one day I'll be president, or I'll be the CEO of a big company, or I'm going to roll in money and nobody can tell me what to do ever again because I can just throw cash at it, right? But from ancient times, wise people, yogis, and Buddha have talked about the fact that we live in a dream, that we are in a dream state. All of this is nothing but a dream. Don't take it too seriously, right? And that kind of pissed me off when I was a younger person because I'm like, okay, well...
Well, I can say as a younger person, it do piss me off.
Yeah, right?
Don't take it too seriously. Well...
Yeah, it's my life, man, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a dream, like, come on now. Well, this dream car just ran into my dream leg and my dream leg hurts in that dreamy fashion, except that it feels real, right? But what they're trying to get to is you have to realize that the evolution of concepts and the evolution of language is there. There are words in the English language, for example, that are here that weren't here even in the 80s, like Bitcoin. What the hell is a Bitcoin, right? So they're concepts that develop themselves. And neurology, for example, chiropractic talked about the mental impulse, right? D.D. Palmer, who invented chiropractic, basically, talked about the mental signals coming from the brain out in the body because the nervous system was not explored. You have to understand that the word neural impulse didn't exist.
Yeah, we had, what didn't you call it? This is not chiropractic related, but gravity was gravitons.
Yeah, that we thought that gravity was created by these particles called gravitons. And this is in the 80s, guys. Now we know that it's a field, and basically they're thinking that it's warping in space-time. It's a change in shape that creates this gravitational force, right? But in 1980, if you talk to any of the high caliber physicists, they're like, of course, light comes from photons and gravity comes from gravitons, right? Completely wrong.
Makes sense, though.
Yeah, I can see where they got that. But, so the whole idea of us walking around in a kind of a dream is interesting. Now, you can analyze this in different layers and levels, okay? Because what they really are trying to say is that we walk around in a fantasy world of concepts. You're like, what? Fantasy world? No, hold on, Jason. Fantasy world. I don't live in no fantasy world of concepts. Bear with me for a moment, okay? So one of the coolest examples that I've found about this, I was thinking about this the other day. Now think about this. In the 1920s in America, it was called the Roaring Twenties, right? And that was because everybody was, high on life and the stock market was going through the roof and everybody had lots of money. And what happened after that?
The Depression?
Yeah, the Great Depression. And in the Great Depression, they had these huge food lines where people were like standing in soup lines. The government had to provide soups that people could survive. Now, how is it that literally in an afternoon that we went from having wealth and everybody was making money and in fact, JFK, you know who JFK is, right? The president that got shot, murdered in America. JFK, amazing person. His family is just super famous. They got all of their money and their political clout because of their grandfather, who was a bootlegger. You know what a bootlegger is?
No.
A bootlegger was... In America, there were times when it was illegal actually to produce, drink, and sell alcohol. So a bootlegger is a person who makes alcohol and sells it. So the JFK fortune comes from the fact that his grandfather was a bootlegger, made money selling illegal alcohol, invested it in the stock market. And he was going to go invest more money in the stock market. And the kid, back in those days, they had these kids running around, polishing shoes, right? And the kid said, "Hey man, you want a good stock tip? If I made $100 last week in the stock market." Now, if people who are shining shoes are making $100 a week back in those days, then you know that things are overpriced and it's too easy. So what's going to happen?
Gonna crash.
Yeah, it's going to crash. You're going to get what they call, in politically correct terms, a correction. Right? So you get a correction. Bam. So what he very intelligently realized, being a person who was on the side of the law and the whole thing, that when everybody's doing it, it's going to be a problem, right? So when he's getting stock tips, they're actually probably very valid from a person who's shining shoes for 3 cents, but made $100 last week in the stock market. He was smart enough to go in and take all of his money out. So, they say that if you only have one eye, but you're living in the land of the blind, you're the king. So it wasn't like he was a super gazillionaire at that point, but he took that money out. He had made quite a bit of money, took that money out, and then everybody else lost their money. So then he's sitting with a fortune. And what he did is he bought this old warehouse area and made one of the biggest first malls in the East Coast. And, modern malls everywhere now. So now you understand that, okay, that's where that legacy comes from. Bootlegging, but also the concept. So everybody's making money in the stock market. Everybody has money for food. Everybody's paying rent. Everybody's buying luxury goods. The next afternoon, they can't afford food.
It's a big change.
So do you think that there was a lack of food in the grocery stores?
No.
No?
Not in an afternoon.
Not an afternoon, you see? And do you think that people actually lost any physical value in their life in that afternoon?
No.
No. It's the perception of value that disappeared, that then people's money went from $100 million, $1,000, down to $100, down to $1,000. And when you're a person who has a lifestyle that needs $1 million a year, and then suddenly that money is now worth $1,000, you have an issue. But again, is it the actual value of the money, or is it the perception of that money? Now you understand that so many things around us are just a concept or a perception and not really an actual fact. So to put this in a different way, Alan Watts, talked about this, and he said, it's like, okay, you want to build a house. Yeah. So you have wood and you have all the materials that you need. But one day you suddenly wake up and you have no inches. You have no centimeters. What do you mean? I have wood, right? I have a meter. Yeah, we have meters today, but we don't have centimeters. We don't have inches. We have yards, but no inches. What? Yeah, I'm sorry. We're flat out, inch is not what it used to be. Yesterday, we decided that inches were out and centimeters were out. So we only have meters today. So if you need inches, I'm sorry, you can't have inches. Yeah, but because there was food for everybody. There was jobs for everybody, just like there was the day before the crash. But the perception of value changed. So these concepts, we allow these concepts to rule us. Now, does this sound esoteric? Does it sound pretty foolish and weird? Or what?
I'm not following you.
Yeah, right? Well, that's the whole point. Because our society is built up on so many things that we think have to be a certain way for things to go well. But in reality, don't have to be there at all. Don't really make a difference at all. And it can be the difference between, your business running well or not running well. It's an idea of whether or not that thing you're selling has value or not have value. Now Mart's looking at me like, what you talking about, Jason? What you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not following you at all.
Okay. So, let's talk about it again. Let's reevaluate it, right? So, the stock market.
If you're listening and you are understanding it, please drop me a DM so I may understand it, because I'm falling off here.
Okay. A little bit of an example of this. So, dollars used to be based on the gold standard. Have you heard of the gold standard? Mm. Yeah. But then one of the presidents took the act, which means that you could take dollars to the bank, National Reserve, and get gold for it. It was gold standard, meaning that X amount of dollars is X ounces of gold. Mm. Okay. That there was a president that detached the dollar from the gold standard, meaning that now the dollar is based on what people's perceived value of it is. And that's why if you go into the market, the currency market, you see how the dollar is valued sometimes for 10 crowns or 5 crowns. So they're kind of figuring out that, okay, the American economy in relationship to the Japanese and Chinese economy and the Norwegian economy is so and so. They have belief that the American economy is going to get stronger, and therefore the dollar's value goes up. Or, oh my God, the president just said something stupid, the dollar drops. Mm. That's basically what happens. So now the stock market's the same way. People may think that a stock is based on the actual concrete value of that company.
So the stock is based on what you think it can happen and what people think may happen.
Exactly. It's speculation, right?
Yeah, big time. You never know.
That's it. So it's actually gambling when you're in the stock market, right?
Yeah.
And you hope that people...
The tendency that has been there will continue.
Exactly. And that's the thing with Bitcoin as well. That's based on absolutely no real value at all. But then people are like, yeah, but neither stocks actually. Because stocks go up and down with no real change in the actual value of the company. It's a perception of stuff. And that's the whole thing. Our perception of what people think about us. Our perception of a situation. Our perception of a stock and its value. Our perception of our self-value. All of these things, though they're not really concrete, their concepts can have a large effect on the way we live, right? So if people think that, the muffins that you make in your store are the best muffins that have ever been made in the whole world, and everybody is completely incomplete in their life unless they had that muffin, then you're pretty secure.
Yeah, people are going to buy the muffin.
People are going to buy that muffin. And as long as you produce muffins, they're going to be all over the muffin, right? And they'll pay triple price for the muffin because you're not complete in your life unless you have that muffin, right?
Because it's the world's best muffin.
It's the world's best muffin. And what's the difference between that and people wanting a supercar, for example? Because, I was in Bergen the other day, and I was looking at motorcycle stuff. In fact, I was picking up this is, one of those things that she probably doesn't need me to tell everybody, but Marit helped me to drive motorcycle, and I dumped her bike twice and broke the clutch. So I was replacing her clutch like a good friend, right? And I saw this motorcycle, and I'm checking it out, and I'm like, man, that thing looks pretty hot. It's a hot motorcycle. And old guy comes over, and he's like, yes, this right here, sir, this is something for you. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, because everybody wants to know what it's like to have a bike like this. And I'm like, well, what is it? And he's like, it's a Kawasaki H2. I'm like, an H2? I've never heard of it before, because I'm not really a super motorcycle guy or car guy, And he's like, yes, this motorcycle, sir, has 300 horsepower. And I'm like, what? And it can go 400 kilometers an hour.
When do you need that?
Well, not even need. When can you? To see the whole.
How fast do they drive when they drive on tracks?
Yeah, but even on a track.
And a Formula One car is 350 or something.
Yeah, but that's exactly right. And the whole point is that's in a straightaway. You could probably not even drive this on a flight strip, a landing strip.
I don't think so.
And there's no place in Norway to even drive it. I don't even know why they sell that thing in Norway. But there's some dude who wants the idea of having a motorcycle who can go 400 kilometers an hour and has 300 horsepower. Like a Porsche, many Porsches don't even have 300 horsepower. This is a motorcycle, guys. Like, I can't even explain to you. This thing goes like over 100 miles an hour in first gear. You never have to go into second gear. And it has 6 gears. Like, get out of town. So it's just an idea, right? And how many of these concepts and ideas do we actually live with? That's the right kind of shirt to have. Those are the right kind of shoes to have. This is the good job. That's not a good job. This is enough money. That's not enough money.
There's been very many people that, for instance, say that working in a grocery store is not a good enough job.
But for some people, it's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's amazing if you like it.
Yeah.
And if you're happy there and it's a good working environment, stay there.
Absolutely.
It's so many people many places that have more status.
Yeah.
And I'm doing people can't see me, but I'm doing the donkey ears. Status.
Yeah.
Donkey ears.
Yeah.
Like lawyers, and they work in a shitty work environment.
Well, that's it.
Why would you stay there when you can have a perfectly good and happy life where you are valued and you love your job?
It's all a concept. That's the point. It's all of these projections, mental projections of all of these things that we feel we need to have or shouldn't have, or is enough or not enough. It's valuable or not valuable. Is me, that I'm just not that kind of person. How do you see yourself? You see, and now just as a quick question, what is a dream? It's just a bunch of mental projections in your sleep, right? Mm. So what's the difference between that and this? Because do you actually live in your perceptions and all of your dreams and desires and evaluations and devaluations, or do you actually live with what's concretely here and now?
But then how do you figure out what's concretely here and now?
That's it. That's exactly right. And that's why you need to do self-exploration like you've been doing, and you do more and more of that. That's what strong, healthy people do. And that's why, the Buddha and the yogis and all these guys, the real ones, not the whole yoga pants and yogi tea version of that. And when we say that, of course, yoga pants are amazing. Yogi tea is great.
I drink yoga tea every day.
Yeah. It's not that. But the point is that, looking the part and actually doing the internal work. You don't have to have cool tats and dreadlocks and smell like incense in order to get your spiritual path on, or even to wake the fuck up, right? All you need to do is to decide to look inside and start deconstructing the dream that you're in. So, people are like, "Oh, I didn't meet my goal today." Well, what's your goal today? What's it based on? Is it something real? Is it a real goal? Are you not going to eat today? No, I'm going to eat. Okay, you're not going to pay your rent today? Yeah, I'm going to pay my rent. Okay, your kids are safe? Yeah. Okay, you're stressing like you're about to die. So what's up here? Like, yeah, but I didn't hit my goal. Yeah, good. But if you didn't hit your goal today, you can hit it tomorrow maybe, or the day after. I mean, some things go up and down. Yeah, but you know, I need to hit this that's just who I am. And then we get back to this whole identity idea, you know.
If you say, I have learned, if you say, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding. Stop.
Yeah.
Look back.
Yeah, that's it. Because we're total human beings. We're total beings, right? And that's the thing.
Because that is, then you are making a very big statement. That's not just who I am. Or you say, that's who I am.
Yeah.
And it can be used, of course, if you need it for motivation and like you're going to go Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition, you say, I am the champ. That's one thing. But be careful with those statements.
That's it. Because it's, in a way, putting you in a position where you're actually putting yourself in a box.
Yeah, and like we talked about last podcast, I'm not letting anyone put me in a box. So why would you put yourself in a box?
Don't put Marit in a box.
Why would you then put yourself in a box?
That's the whole point. And that's why all of these identity statements are just basically putting somebody in a box. So now you see that in that way, the concept. So,
but then how would you so for our dear listener out there, how should a person then start to deconstruct?
Well, what I always ask myself is, what is enough for me? So, for example, I'm a guy in my 50s. I turned 50, right? And I have enough money. So I have to then ask myself, I'm 50. I'm going to live a certain number of years. And I need a new car. So what kind of car do I actually need? Now, the perception of my persona, this construction, this personality says, oh, I deserve something like a Ferrari or a Porsche, or, you know, get myself a Cadillac or something like that, right? And maybe it would be fun to have a car like that. Except, we'll get back to that in a moment. But, you know, you go through all of these ideas of the way you want it, or the way you need it, or the way you should have it, or what you deserve. First, you have to figure out, what do you need? I need a car. I need a car that's reliable and get me to work. And how far does this car need to actually be able to drive? And it was you actually that said, hey, Jason, realize you're driving from your house down to the office, and in your office, you treat all your patients, you do your podcast, you do your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training, you know, to become the world champion. And what else do you do? No, well, I'm pretty busy with that. You know, I do my meditations and stuff at home, and basically I love my work. I mean, absolutely love my work with my patients, and I love the podcast. And I just think that Jiu-Jitsu is the bomb, and I want to do that. And I'm working pretty hard, and that's a pretty full day. So yeah, I guess I'm not going to be going on any long road trips. Yeah, so then why would you want a car that's this and this big, or that and that? And we basically deconstructed the whole idea down to, you know what? Get an electric car. And then I researched electric cars and found out what perfect electric car was good for me, right? So what is it that you need? What is your basic? Just looking at those things in your life will help you start deconstructing some of the concepts that you're living with. Because most of the concepts we have are projections of our persona, projections of our personality, right? You know, so how rich is rich enough?
Well, that depends on your life.
The richer you get, the more money you want usually, right? But
or you need to keep up.
Well, you see, this is exactly right. That's the point. You made it perfectly, because you're constantly having to keep up with it. And what's rich and how rich is rich enough. It's all about the idea we have about what we need in order to be fulfilled and happy. But where does fulfillment and happiness come from? Within. It comes from inside out.
It should come from within.
Yeah.
Figure that happiness from outside is very short term and often comes with a lot of luggage.
Yeah, exactly.
Top of it.
And that's the thing. we get back to this whole car thing, for example. Anytime they've done research on this, and my friends that you're listening, you're not different than this, unless you're super lucky, but almost everybody listen to this. We have way over 1,000 people listening to us now, all over the world. And this research applies to all of you. 3 months after buying a new car, it's just a car. Doesn't matter what kind of car it was. And in fact, once you've bought a super luxury car, you will almost always be miserable with something less good than that. And it will be very difficult to make you more happy unless you completely upgrade to the next level of car, whatever it is. So is it smarter for you just to have something basic and easy and something that makes your life good and easy? Or do you want to pimp your car out and then never be able to go back and always have to buy a pimped out car every time you buy one?
I think to buy just what you need and nothing more.
Yeah.
Is perfect.
Yeah.
Because it's about the relative change.
Exactly.
Like we're building a house. First of all, we went through the whole process of do we need a house? And I need a house. An apartment is not what I want for my life. I want a house.
Yeah.
But then the question was, because we live in Norway, it's cold and we have this beautiful view, and then my husband asked, so do you want a sauna? I'm like, I don't want a sauna. First of all, it's super expensive.
Yeah.
And second, what do we do then when we go on vacation?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because then I'm having a sauna at home, then it doesn't matter that the hotel I'm staying at has a sauna.
Yeah, and also...
So why would I go at all? Because if I have the hot tub, the sauna, the car, the indoor swimming pool, then why go to a nice hotel for vacation?
Almost everybody I know who has a sauna actually doesn't use it. I have a sauna, and I'm in there maybe for... Yeah, I'm there every day for the winter vacation when I've gone skiing with my wife. That's a total of like 2 weeks. So at 2 weeks out of the whole year, I use the sauna.
And
the rest of it's just...
And the rest of it, you use it for bees.
Yeah, that's also true.
So
yes.
it's not the... I think I also just bought a car because I wasn't allowed to drive the other one out of the dealership all of a sudden.
You drove that thing to pieces.
Yeah, so it wasn't that I decided when the universe decided that I need a new car. And then the question was, what car did I need?
Yeah.
And because of we have a farm and we have to go in. We have 2 farms that has to be maintained, and we have to have room for deers because we go hunting and stuff. Then we got a car that fits those requirements.
Yeah.
But it's still a very sensible car.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. And it's very reliable, and it can be serviced here. And that was my next point. And that is that imagine, let's say that I got this beautiful electrical car that I can get serviced here. It's super easy to drive. I can charge it at my house, never have to think about it. It's actually completely stress-free. I could have gotten myself a Cadillac. And guess what, guys? I would have to drive an hour and a half to get that thing serviced every time I wanted it serviced. And any kind of spare parts that they got, they would have to order from America. So how convenient do you think that car would be for me to have here?
It's very stressful.
Yeah, it's very stressful. And we live out in some of the most beautiful country in the world. I mean, Norway, to start off with, is like a postage stamp. It's the most beautiful place I've ever seen. And yes, there are as beautiful places in other countries. It's not that, but here, almost no matter where you turn, it's beautiful. Like, it's exceptional. It's like the best parts of Switzerland put all together in one country. It's amazing. But the roads are not great. Okay.
No, they're not.
They're tiny. They're messed up. If you drive motorcycles like me and Marit do, in the summertime, man, you can hit a pothole that will kill you. Like, the roads aren't great. Okay. You want a Porsche here? You want a Ferrari? Good luck. Your oil pan is going to be broken and smashed all over the ground. Like, it is not okay to waste a beautiful car like that on these roads. So the whole point is that the concept of me having to have this luxury car because I'm 50 and I deserve it and I have the money for it and I need to show everybody I have the money for it is absolutely absurd. It's a concept.
I saw the other day, it was on Instagram, it was statistics in Norway, and that said that in Norway, people that invest in watches, like wristwatches, 50% are very rich,
Yeah.
and 50% are not.
That's right.
Like, why would you invest in a Rolex if you don't have a lot of money you don't know where to put?
Because you want to look like you have money.
It's ridiculous.
Because you have this idea. And even if you have lots of money, it's ridiculous. You're going to put $200,000 on your wrist. I don't even have a watch anymore. I have 2 luxury watches because I got sucked in when I was like in my 20s. I got sucked in. I had to, I want to be status. I want to show people that I'm worthy and I'm engaged in society and that I deserve my spot here because I'm going to have nice clothes. I'm going to have a nice watch. Get out of here, man. None of that matters. None of that really matters. It's all a concept. It's all an idea, a social norm, and social norms change, don't they?
All the time.
Just look at what people think is beautiful. Look at the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s. My God, poor women, they constantly are in and out of fashion and what you look like and what you have and don't have and where it's supposed to be placed and if it's supposed to be placed at all and if it's supposed to be blown up or sucked out or I don't know. You never know what's going to go, like what's next, right? So think about this. Buddha says we walk around in a dream. Okay. And now we know that the research shows that if you get happy buying something new, getting something new, getting a promotion, falling in love, getting in a relationship, new relationships, get a new car, get your house. And on average, you're going to be happy for 3 months. And then it's just a thing after that. So if you're dependent on outside stimulus for your happiness and you can only be happy for 3 months, you either have to be completely engaged with trying to fulfill your crack addict need for happiness or you're going to suffer. So what's one of the first things that Buddha says about life? Life is
suffering.
There you go. Life is suffering. Thank you very much, Marit Gabrielsen.
Well, Buddha said it.
Well, I think
it not mine. Was not me.
But you just
Buddha.
But you
I
just
quoted Buddha.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah. But you just deconstructed all of because people are like, oh, he's such a pessimist. No, he's not a pessimist. He's just telling you if you are dependent on the things outside you for your own inner happiness, you're in trouble. You will suffer. That's just what it is. And part of that is this concept game that we play, this dream that we walk around in, this projection of mental concepts. And that's what a dream is, right? So it's not that they're trying to tell you that, oh, this is not real. So if you just believe hard enough, it's like the Matrix. You can put your hand through the wall and pull it back, right? Well, you could if you broke the wall or your hand. But the point is that it's not like that. We do live in a dream, and that dream is our mental projection. So we don't see the world as it is. We see it as we are, right? Mm. The world is as...
You are?
Yes,
Isn't
that's
that
it.
B.J. Palmer?
Yep.
Palmer?
Yep, B.J. Palmer. Well done.
Thank you.
Yes.
I read that quote every day.
Whoop, whoop. So it's really good. So the idea that we had the Great Depression in America was literally like saying, oh, we're out of inches today. I'm sorry. Yeah, but you have yards and meters and yeah, but inches, the idea of the inch is gone today. The idea of value of a certain stock or your portfolio is now.
It's the panic though, that something crashed and then the panic arises. And
people freak out, but there's actually no difference in the actual value of anything. The money that they had is still in the market. The money, it's just this concept. And it's so important that we sometimes take a step back and look at ourselves and look at what we feel we need, think we have to do. How many people are completely overwhelmed with things to do?
I would say 99% of us.
99% of us. But how many of us use 3+ hours entertaining ourselves a day?
I don't think people know how much time they use entertaining themselves.
That's the problem because it's unconscious, right? They don't reflect over the fact that they check their mobile phone 3,000 times a day.
Stop doing that.
Yes, right? Have times where you look at your mobile phone. That's number one. Number two, shut your freaking social media off in the evening.
I want to come with an advice?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, It's super smart. I got to take a week off. I was put on hold for a week to recover myself.
Parked.
I was parked for a week, and sometimes you need that, and that's why you have a peer group. So I was parked for a week. I was taken off social media. Only thing I was allowed to have was Snapchat and Messenger, and I was only allowed to use that to communicate with certain people. And I wasn't allowed to kind of use it to send a lot of pictures and stuff. It's more for communication.
Because she's serving everybody, guys. She's,
So I was put on pause, and then I figured, that was it was actually quite comfortable. It was very nice. I was listening to audiobooks, and I was doing that, but I wasn't kind of scrolling. The other day I read that you scroll in average, wasn't it 200 meters a day?
Yeah.
You scroll.
Yeah.
No, it was ridiculous.
Your thumb runs 200 meters a day on your
runs. That's a lot of running. If you go on a track and you trying to actually scroll when you walk.
Yeah.
Then you understand how much scrolling that is.
That's a whole lot of scrolling.
It's not a wonder why teens now get inflammation.
Yeah, they get inflammation, arthrosis
in their thumb.
Yeah, in their thumb. The texting generation, they got it further out on the thumb. It was called a BlackBerry thumb, and that was like because the BlackBerry phones, you're texting, and now you have the scrolling thumb, which is it's actually arthrosis closer to the actual hand. It's the deep joint.
It's insane.
The thumb.
So I'm saying, go to a track. 200 meters is half the track. Start scrolling your thumb.
Yeah.
On the track. And see how far you actually get.
Yeah.
And then you understand how much you scroll.
Yeah.
Fun. And this is just Instagram. It's not Facebook. It's just Instagram.
And that's one of the social media
One of the
platforms.
social medias. And then you have Instagram. You have Snapchat. Facebook and Snapchat. And then you go on the news. And then you go to New York Times. And you go to all this stuff. So you scroll so much. And then, after my parked week, I figured that to be off social media was actually very liberating. It was a lot of less noise in general. And I discovered that social media doesn't do much for me.
No.
Only thing I missed was that I have certain profiles that was competing in weightlifting.
Yeah, people you care about.
Yeah, and I was wondering how it went.
Yeah.
And I wanted to send them good luck and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
other pro athletes, Marit is friends with some high-level athletes, and she, as herself, is also a high-level athlete. They have a peer group there, and it's really cool to have contact with them.
So that was what I missed during that week.
Yeah.
But after the week, I figured, I don't need to have this much social media contact. So what I did was that at 6 o'clock every night, by 1800, I log off.
Yeah.
I don't delete the app. I'm not saying I'm not going to be on social media because I think that's ridiculous because you have to stay in contact with people and I want to also know what's happening in the world. But after 6 o'clock, I log off.
Yeah.
Because then I actually and then I discovered how many times I actually go in. Just, you're watching a movie and all of a sudden you're on your phone again.
Yep.
It's just up in your face all the time.
Yep.
But being off from 6 o'clock, it takes away the clutter. And it's not like you don't get enough social media time because you're still on social media during the day. So when I wake up at 5:30, I'm logging in again.
Yeah, and
so I have 12 hours of social media.
Yeah.
But in my most vulnerable time, which is after work and after training when I'm tired and you just do brainless stuff.
Yeah.
That time is gone.
Yeah,
now.
so smart.
It's very nice. And then I also started to be really conscious about who I'm following.
Yeah.
So I also have defollowed a lot of people that just not giving me anything of value.
Yeah, they make you, they put ideas out there and they make you care about things that you actually don't care about. They fill your head with concepts, like I was talking about the walking in the dream, lots of concepts that don't apply to you. And then suddenly you're supposed to worry about the way this thing looks. I mean, I never even knew what a belfie was, which is like a selfie, but of your butt. Did you hear about that?
No, because I log off after 6 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly.
And no belfies before 6 o'clock. People.
Log off, folks. No, but you know what I'm saying? Like you're supposed to care about the way, like I never thought about
it. As a woman now, you have the what is it? It's before you had the thigh gap. That's gone now. Now it's a hip. What's it called? It's a hip thing.
A hip thing.
Yeah, it's a hip thing. It's a hip bump or something.
What?
That's it's. But again, it doesn't matter what it is.
Another thing you're supposed to care about.
Another
that
thing
has
has
absolutely nothing to do with anything real. It's just this thing you should have.
Yeah.
And you can feel really bad about not having it.
Or having it.
Or having it, or whatever.
Because
Yeah.
I didn't understand if I should have it or shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, but should I? Shouldn't I? And then, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
So
Who
I would
cares?
recommend people do a detox on your social media,
Uh-huh.
meaning that you're just going to have it. And to say like, I'm not going to have Instagram. Sorry, close your eyes. Shut the fuck up. You're going to have Instagram. And if not, you are doing the total opposite and you are deconnecting and you're saying that you're better than everyone else that has social media.
Yeah, well, that's
In a
the
way,
whole point.
you're going the opposite way.
Exactly. Because
to
you
not-
need to be integrated into society, and society, unfortunately, and fortunately, because there's some very good things there as well.
You may most likely
has now-
found us there.
Yeah, exactly. Has now integrated themselves with social media. Social media is a part of the next evolutionary step of the
and it's
humankind. We are
how
now unifying as an organism through technology.
And it's how it is. And to not stay on it,
Yeah.
really...
Yeah, you're going to
Try-
be on it, but be
aware. Be aware. Like if you ask yourself the question when things are popping up, and on Facebook's a little bit different because you're following your friends and you have friends you were friends with in high school that you're still popping up. That's fine.
Yeah.
But sites you follow, and same on Instagram, look who's popping up.
Yeah.
And ask yourself the question: is this someone I want to follow? Does this person give me anything? Or not. And if they don't, unfollow them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just be really, because if they don't give anything, why use time on it? Why give them time?
Yeah, exactly.
And just again to log off is super smart, because then you see how many times you take off your phone.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
Exactly.
So that I just wanted to recommend.
Yeah, I think it's amazing.
So log off.
Yep.
And then you do two. You have to push 3 buttons, and then you just have to push 1 to log in again.
There you go.
It's
That's
super fast.
Yeah.
But then you
super
also get to enjoy the time you set off to actually just
fun. Be with your husband.
be with your husband or be with your kids. And I can actually see that on my dog,
Yeah.
that if I'm on my phone, he gets upset.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, he whacks your hand, right?
Yeah, because he's
Mine
like,
does too. Yeah, he comes over and he's like, dude.
no,
dude,
but look,
it's
be with
us."
me, and you on your phone. And
Yeah.
I don't have kids, but I would imagine if I had kids that they
Oh.
I think they will notice it more than you think.
Well, they notice it, but the problem is that they're also Homo sapiens. And as soon as you show them a screen, what's going to happen?
They get sucked in.
They get sucked in and hypnoptized. They're going to be just as addicted as we are. There's actually something called it's like juvenile technology related dementia. Like kids lose the ability to focus because they're watching films. They're taking in so much passive information that they can't be active with their self. They can't activate their memory. They're just getting everything served to themselves. They don't have the creativity they should have. I mean, this is really, it's disconnecting kids from their world and themselves, you know?
And you can ask yourself, when your kid asks, I want this for Christmas, do you actually want it, or is there idea of that thing that they want?
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
think what we have to focus more on is not things in general, but thing that builds us.
Yeah.
And time. Use time on the things that actually matters. Like instead of giving your girlfriend, I don't know, wine glasses or a bottle of wine, or I don't know, makeup, then give her time. Your time.
Exactly. Be completely together. You know, that's one of those things. It's kind of like you can take my money, but don't waste my time.
Time is much more valuable than money.
Exactly. It's more because you never get your time back.
So stop scrolling.
Exactly. Stop scrolling, my friends, and just at least reduce it. Okay. And another thing is that I'm going to take it a step further. What's even more important than the whole time aspect, and that is perception. People who are warping your perception of your life, how you have it, whether you should or should not be happy,
what you should have,
what you need. You should be making those decisions for yourself, not passively taking in other people's concepts. We don't want to live in other people's ideas, because I'm going to tell you, if you're conscious, you can make a magnificent life. You can really gear your head, gear the way you see the world as a field of infinite happiness and light and potential, and a field of play for yourself. A place where you every day wake up into something new and beautiful as the universe unfolds its mysteries for you. Or you can be a place where it's filled with have-tos and never enoughs and shoulda, coulda, woulda's and not as good as Joe and wish I was like the neighbor. Think about that. So protect yourself, right? So as Marit broke it down, Marit and Buddha hanging out.
Marit and Buddha.
Marit and Buddha laying down the law. Now you understand the practical application of...
Well, I just had to say, it was a smart guy. Well, a guy called Jason Shields. And he said also something somewhat smart. And he said, life is suffering, so choose your suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to have pain. So you choose your pain. Do it.
So, are you going to have... But I think a lot of the, like we talked about, the perception is very unconscious.
Yeah, that's it. You know, so you can choose the pain of taking responsibility for the way you look at life and what you do with your own inner energy. Or you're going to take the pain of the result of not doing that and letting other people choose it.
Okay, so homework. Figure out what the last big thing you bought yourself was.
Mm-hmm.
If it was a phone or...
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily talking about what you had for dinner, but it could also be dinner. Because did you actually order the thing that you wanted to order? Or did you order the thing that your friend ordered? So your friend ordered salad, so you chose salad because that looks better. Exactly. Or why did you buy the last thing? If you bought a phone, why did you buy the last iPhone?
Yeah, exactly.
Why was the reason you bought that iPhone?
Yeah. And imagine, think about this. This is a question, I think that's such a good homework, because would you say I have a nice house?
Yeah.
Would you say that I have an exceptional house?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have probably one of the most amazing houses that I've ever seen. It's perfect for me, and it has the view of a lifetime, and it's just I love it. I love it when I sit here and think about it. If you want to see
the view, you go into Jason D. Shields on Instagram. Here you can follow on Instagram. Yes. And there you see the view.
Yeah, and my motorcycle.
And his motorcycle.
Yeah, but the whole point is that I love that house, and I know it's a great house, but I don't sit around here necessarily enjoying it. No. Even when I'm at home, I'm busy doing my stuff. So I'm not necessarily... So the percentage of my day that's filled with happiness and satisfaction and joy around something that's absolutely magnificent is super small. I'm just like, oh, good, fixed. Okay, maintain. I'll have to go out and do this. So how much time do you actually spend enjoying and appreciating what you have? So that's the next thing. So Marit's going to give you the whole number one, limit your scrolling.
And ask yourself, did this person give me value?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you say no,
kick them
out. And that could be like, I have comics. Comics, they give me joy. So I follow comics.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to give you philosophical value. But no. Does it give me anything?
Yeah.
And if it gives you low self-esteem or it's just clutter or whatever, unfollow.
Yeah. Exactly. Bam. That's number one.
Number one.
So, and number two, think about the last thing that you bought, the last thing that you received, the last thing you got that was big. And think about the percentage of your everyday that you actually enjoy that thing and how long ago it was. And see if the thing that you have, if it's the last thing you bought was a car, for example, it was 6 months ago, how much do you actually appreciate when you sit in to drive, or you're just busy driving? Right? And then the last thing. Why are you always constantly just busy driving and not enjoying? Could you spend more time just enjoying what you have? And do you think that would improve your quality of life? I think so.
And with that, we say thank you.
So remember, you matter. Unless you multiply yourself by the speed of light squared, and then your energy. But if you can't be energy, matter.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. We hope you felt we added something to your day and hopefully your life. If you want to learn more, subscribe to our newsletter and find us at integrated-human.com. That is integrated-human.com. Integrated Human on YouTube and other social media platforms. Have a great day and thank you again for listening. Love, light, and upgrade from us at the Integrated Human team.